is Emily, and for my skills project, I decided to focus on listening. Listening is an active and complex process that goes beyond simply hearing. True listening involves organizing, interpreting, and remembering the information being imparted by the speaker. For me, I felt that I could really improve the most in the type of listening that's called listening for information. I work at a plastic surgery center, and effective communication directly has an impact on patient health outcomes. So I felt that listening for information would be a really good focus. So, listening for information has three different aspects to it. I know this is a little washed out because the light balance is on me, but I'll read them so you won't miss anything. The first is being mindful. The second is avoiding obstacles, and third is asking questions. So, first off, focusing on being mindful, it is important to choose to be mindful. Don't let your mind wander when information gets complicated or confusing. Just about all the information that I handle is complicated and confusing. That's just the way the human body is. And so it's really important that you stay focused on the information being imparted and take in as much as you can so that you can ask clarifying questions later. In my workplace, my boss is a surgeon and she has ADHD. I mean that only in the clinical diagnoses. She is incredibly focused and just a brilliant surgeon in the operating room, but outside of it, she actually has a lot of trouble communicating clearly and concisely. So that places a lot of responsibility on me as the listener to sort of stay present and not get distracted by something going on in my life or something else that she said that I don't think is relevant to the key information. The second component is avoiding obstacles, and I kind of touched on this with mentioning sort of like noise. Um, Minimizing noise in complicated situations can be as simple as going to a quiet place to talk, but it can also take the form of sorting through information to really pluck out the important pieces and discard aspects that might not be relevant to what we're discussing. Another important aspect of avoiding obstacles is minimizing psychological distractions by emptying your mind of concerns and ideas that can divert attention. So that part is on you as a listener. What's going on inside of your head? You really need to kind of clear your mind. Um, it's important to monitor your tendency to react to emotionally loaded language. This isn't something that so much applies to my workplace, but at home, I tend to kind of latch on to one thing, and so kind of downgrading that in importance and not allowing it to distract you is really important. We have to make a very deliberate effort to cultivate an inner silence that allows us to listen fully to others. I do this by, or have started doing this, I should say, bringing a pad and pen with me to every really serious interaction that I have at work. It keeps me mindful and in the moment. It allows me to sort through information on paper. So if I think some piece of information is important, I'll write it down. Because otherwise it's just this kind of data dump and we talk about 12 different really important things and tasks that need to get done. And even missing one can have a serious effect on someone's health. It means that maybe somebody didn't get a medication that they needed, and they could get an infection and potentially lose a limb or something with their life. Something really really important, simple things that get overlooked. Just they can't happen. So I've taking notes on every single meeting that we have, and it allows me to prioritize and organize information, and also to kind of go back and follow up on something that maybe I don't fully understand. And that kind of takes us into asking questions. So, asking a speaker to clarify or elaborate the message may help you understand information you didn't grasp at first. It also enhances insight into content that you did comprehend. This is something that I found to be so important because it also helps me keep our communication like on the tracks, so we don't get derailed, we don't go off into another tangent, because I will kind of refocus the interaction by asking a clarifying question about something. Even if I did understand it, I'll sort of parrot back the information and say, is that right? And it kind of refocuses the communication. And questions also complement a speaker because they indicate that you are interested and want to know more. I have to say that I've started at the end of each meeting, before we wrap up, um, under the pretense of as if I wanted to make sure I got everything, I'll say, okay, so we talked about X, Y, and Z, and you want to have A, B, and C done by 5 o'clock today. Was there anything I missed? Was there anything else you wanted to go over in this meeting? Not only does it impress my boss, but it really helps, because sometimes information either gets missed, or I personally downgraded it in priority, but really it should have been an A1 priority thing. So I really feel that the skills project has helped me improve my ability to listen for information and be a better communicator. It's actually just me being focused on listening has helped, I think, myself and my other coworkers communicate really well, because I'm able to organize and prioritize the information that we're exchanging and retain a lot more of it. So I'm really happy to have picked this skill because it's definitely helped me in my workplace.